Hello, everyone. We're here with Mike Kelloway, our Member of Parliament for Cape Breton-Canso. And I'm sure, Mike, that I haven't seen you in a long time, but I do see you everywhere, all over Facebook, all the time doing things.
Absolutely. I like to think we're the most engaged office, political office in government throughout Parliament, actually, because for me, it's going to where the people are. So we've been around the riding on the weekends when Parliament's in session, and now in the summer, we've got a substantial number of announcements to make that are important to the riding. This past year, Becky, we worked on a lot of things that were a culmination of the work of the community and the government. And with last week, we passed the budget, and in the budget, some real monumental things that our office, myself, worked on. One is long-awaited pharmacare, starting with diabetes and contraception, focusing on the dental care for all ages, and that's rolling out. Those are two large items. The school food program, which is a national program, really important to folks across the country from a food security perspective, from affordability perspective, and from a health perspective. Um, Another item that is really important for our riding, and you know this because we've talked about this, small craft harbors and investing more in the small craft harbors because of climate change primarily. They're taking a beating, and I was able to secure about $450 million more in the budget, which was really great working with the Minister of Fisheries. And, there's a lot of money that will be spent in Atlantic Canada on small craft harbors, and our riding of Cape Breton-Canso will be front and center because we have so many harbors that
Mhm.
so many communities rely on. And so those are some of the real key fundamental items. And also working with Sean Fraser on unleashing more money for affordable housing. And so my thought, and we've talked about this before, one of the reasons why I got into politics is to help. And I believe you invest in people and you invest in infrastructure, a fundamental purpose of government from my perspective. And with pharmacare, I can't tell you the number of doors I knocked on in 2019 and in 2021 where people said, healthcare is important. We need more money for healthcare. And we did that in the budget where the provinces are responsible for the delivery. We provided more money for healthcare and pharmacare. People talked to a T about pharmacare. And this is happening now. Because the government is focused on people and helping people. The disability credit, $6 billion is going to be spent to get it off the ground, but over the years, more will be added to it. So when you look at in particular, the last 2 years, the legislation that has been passed that impacts people directly in terms of pharmacare and dental care, the daycare relationship that we have, program that we have, in the relationship with the province of Nova Scotia, $10 a day daycare, that's unfolding. All of this is about investing in people and in families and try to making life more affordable in a world where we're still experiencing the after effects of COVID and in particular the war in Ukraine. So I'm really pleased about it because, quite frankly, our government and my office have been working very closely on these items. I don't like to sit around. I like to get my hands dirty. And when I hear the constituents of my running saying this is important, then I get involved in a major way. But I'm really happy with the policies that were passed in the budget. And it's about investing in people, investing in Canadians, investing in Cape Bretoners and Northeastern Nova Scotian folks. And now this month of soon to be July and August, I'll be in a privileged position of meeting folks in the riding to make announcements that are a result of their hard work and my hard work, and also to listen to folks on the challenges that we have. Canada is a blessed country. We have a lot to be thankful for, but it's also an important experiment in democracy. We need to make sure that people are engaged and they're heard. And I think I know, and hopefully your listeners know and your viewers know, I take that very seriously. I got into politics to help people. I'm not what you would call an ultra partisan. Other people can be that, and my hat's off to them for that. That's a real skill. I'm about reaching out to people who can help my constituents, whether they be in government, provincial, municipal, First Nations, towns. we all need to work together and roll up our sleeves, because right now we live in an era where it is easy to be cynical and it's easy to be negative. But being cynical never funded one home being built or put one plate of breakfast on the plate of a young child going to Ayrshire. So we need to listen to the concerns. We need to listen to each other, and we need to work together more. And that's my goal, and that's why I'm in this privileged position to help the folks in the riding.
Yeah, well, communities need to band together to do those things, and with these nice projects that you bring and all of that stuff, it really, yeah, it actually increases, community spirit as well. I mean, the cost of living, yes, is so high, and you hear every day there's complaints about gas, there's complaints about food, and there's so many complaints, but I'm going to bring it back to something that we spoke about a little bit earlier. You could be in the Ukraine. you know we are so fortunate to live here, but we're also very fortunate to have people that care about the riding like you do, right? Because you're everywhere, Mike. I see
Yeah.
you everywhere. I sometimes wonder how you do that, you know
Yeah.
but
Well, I have a
yeah.
very understanding wife, and
You
and
must.
and she understands that, at least for me anyway, the way to do this job is to go to where people are,
Oh, yeah.
and to work with people at a community level. It always starts with community for me. And community can mean the country and the community of Ukraine.
Yeah.
In the budget, we supported Ukraine with non-lethal and lethal aid. It's important I think, from a humanistic perspective, from a democracy perspective, but it's also in our best interest too, because what happens on one side of the world impacts us here. Just look at the supply chains and inflation. Well, Ukraine does play a role in that.
Sure.
And we need to protect democracy, and we need to be there for friends. And, that's why I was shocked when another party voted against that. I was shocked when another party voted against Bill C-49, which is really important for our riding, in particular to the Strait area, where we're looking to create a whole new industry in green hydrogen, jobs, investment. The province is on side, all towns, municipalities are on side. And some folks voted against that for our riding, for our province. So these things matter to me. Economic resiliency matters to me. Jobs matter to me. Healthcare matters to me. And as a government, we don't always get things right, but I can tell you the focus is on people. And either you're in politics, and thank God I've seen a lot more people that get into politics to do something as opposed to be someone. But I can say that, from my perspective, all the policies that we're rolling out that have a direct impact on people's pocketbooks, people's health care, people's child care, they're as a result of people in government caring to make life better for
Mhm.
Canadians. And we live in a time where it's easy to create divisions and easy to uh, put a post on a site and not be challenged on it. What's harder is working together and putting your head down during the tough times. Cape Bretoners and northeastern Nova Scotians do that all the time. We have a history of that. Fishing, something happens traumatically to fishing or forestry or in an entrepreneurship side of things with small business, past coal mining and now new industries. That's why I'm so big on Bill C-49. I want your viewers to know that Bill C-49 focuses on changing the Atlantic Accord to enable a new regulatory framework to focus on green hydrogen. Why is that important to people in Ayrshire? Why is that important to people in Inverness? Why is that important to people in Port Hawkesbury and Antigonish and Guysborough? Because large investors want to focus on the strengths of the Strait area, which is wind and the ability to use that wind, offshore wind, for green hydrogen and sell it to Europe. This is real and tangible. And I'm absolutely shocked that a particular party voted against it. In particular, 3 MPs in Nova Scotia voted against economic opportunities for my riding. But I didn't just, say I'm going to be negative on that. I went to the committee, which I wasn't a part of, and wanted to understand why are you against this? We want to be the renewable energy capital of Canada, like Alberta was with oil and gas. So these are the things that are passionate for me. I see a lot of opportunity, and I don't want to see politics or phony baloney stuff or egocentric people getting in the way of opportunity in my riding. I quite frankly am easy to get along with. I work across party lines, but I won't tolerate people playing politics in my riding for whatever gain. It's about people, it's about families, it's about investment, and it's about long-term opportunity investment. And Bill C-49, if you people out there haven't, read about it, read about it. But now we're in the Senate and the conservatives are playing games with that. That's not cool. That's not about party ideology. That's being petty. We need to have a robust fisheries and a robust new industry working hand in glove, and that regulatory framework will make that happen.
Well, we do. I've been following the whole wind energy thing. I think that's really important, like so important,
It,
so
it, it
important.
is. Becky, it is. And I think one of the things that we need to do on these type of initiatives is listen to the fishers. It's
Mm.
important because that's a $1 billion industry in Atlantic Canada.
Well,
We want to make sure that they flourish with better small craft harbors and better programs to assist them when they need it. The men and women of the fisheries. I'm parliamentary secretary for fisheries officers in the Coast Guard. I care about these people. I talk to these people on a daily basis. I know how much they pour into the industry, and I know how much our communities benefit from the fisheries.
well,
So
of
we need to make
course.
sure that is kept intact, while at the same time look to opportunity, because this is a real rural strategy for Cape Breton and northeastern Nova Scotia. And we have people saying that literally they're not giving a real reason. They're being cute with their reasoning. And I don't normally call things out, as you know,
I
on these
do.
calls. But I'm really, really passionate and lack the understanding of how MPs of whatever political party, and you people can do the math, are going against jobs and opportunity and investment that the province of Nova Scotia says we're on side, that the towns and municipalities say we're on side, where the First Nations communities in the province say we're on side. It's a shame, but we're going to get there because that fight is worth having. And that's the other thing. Healthcare, making sure that the public option is strong. Dental care, making sure we roll that out. Millions of seniors now are enrolled and more age brackets are getting on side. And we need to move beyond the silliness of petty politics and focus on people. But I will call people out, not by name, because that's not my style. But I will say, park your ideology or what your leader's telling you and do what's right for Nova Scotia. Do what's right for the people of Nova Scotia. Bill C-49 is one path, I believe, that will enable us to be a leader in green energy and green hydrogen and offshore wind. Do it in collaboration with fishers and make sure that the money stays in this area and that we export the energy. And here's another bit. What if we use some of this energy to green our grid? And we do it in Nova Scotia. That is a journey worth taking.
I think so.
Yeah.
I often wonder, Mike, if sometimes um, other politicians turn things down because they don't understand the area. But if you're saying that the MPs that vote against it are from Nova Scotia,
Correct.
but they live here.
Yes. I think sometimes in politics, the leader of a particular party will lean into something and ask MPs to do the same. That's where it's a gut check time, right? To vote your conscience. And look, people will vote how they vote. I have respect for people across all aisles in Ottawa, and have a great deal of respect for folks on the NDP, and I've talked to people in the Bloc and Elizabeth May and Chris D'Entremont, who I have a ton of respect for in Nova Scotia. I think he's a really good man. But these are things that don't get covered by. This is why local media is so important, by the way, because the media itself hasn't picked up on this the way it should, in my opinion, because of the opportunity that's before us and the reasons why people are voting against it. And the fact of the matter is that this is something that the province of Nova Scotia, Tim Houston, wants. He sees the benefit in this. And dare I say, the rest of the provincial parties do as well. So, and all but one party is against this, I think, in Ottawa. This is wrong. But the good news is that we're not going to let it die. We're not going to let it die. I mean, I've talked to the warden of Richmond County, the mayor of Port Hawkesbury. I've had conversations with provincial reps. I've talked to senators. I was on the phone, and I said, this has to go through Senate. This cannot be delayed, and I'm going to continue over the summer to put the heat on because this is, I'm telling you, like
Boy,
healthcare, it's worth fighting
I
for.
trust that you will, Mike.
Yeah, I get fired up about my riding. I get fired up about Cape Breton, northeastern Nova Scotia. Those are the people I represent. I'm from here, was born and raised here. I give a damn, and will fight like hell for this area, especially when I know that silliness is what's causing delays. I mean, look, people might have, for example, their opinions on healthcare. I believe in a stronger public offering of healthcare. There are some, again, in Nova Scotia, MPs, maybe one, that believes that we should go private and does it with a wink and a nudge. That's not what Canadians want. Canadians want a stronger public option, which we are working on by giving more money to the provinces to do a better job at doctor retention, doctor recruitment, lessening the wait times in ERs. That's the responsibility of the provinces, but we're giving a lot of money towards that, more money. But I think it's time that we have a conversation in the region, in the country, on who is for public health care. Because I can tell you there's some that are not. Well, let's have that debate. I'll love to have that debate. Let's have that debate. I believe that the status quo needs to be improved to a better public option. That's why I like dental care. Dental care is an evolution of the public healthcare system that was initiated by Tommy Douglas in the province of Saskatchewan, and Lester Pearson broadened it to the rest of the country. This is an extension of that. I don't think anyone should make a choice and have to make a choice between using a credit card or a health card to pay for their health care. It should always be health card. And that's what I think the people of Cape Breton, northeastern Nova Scotia believe in too. But I also think that's what Canadians believe. So in the coming year, when there's an election scheduled in October of 2025, we're going to have a real conversation, an ongoing conversation of what Canada do you want? Do you want a Canada that focuses on, abolishing childcare, abolishing dental care, removing pharmacare from Canadians, eroding the public service to the point where they're talking conservatives 30 to 35%? Well, that's significant. Looking at old age security is another one. The conservatives, I know some of them are relishing at trying to cut that. Now, that's a particular point of view. I don't agree with, but let's debate that. Let's debate why I think we need to ensure that OAS and GIS are there. That it's indexed to inflation. Let's focus on childcare. Let's focus on the breakfast program. I had one person tell me they don't think that there is an issue with food security in Canada.
Really?
That's insane.
Wow.
Now, I'll debate that, and I will say the benefits of a national school for a food program are immediately for the children, immediately for the parents, the education of those kids, the health of those kids, the affordability measure that's embedded in that to be able to have a meal that is paid for by government. No kid should go to school hungry, but we have some that believe they should. That's the fight I want to have across Canada. That's the fight that's worth having. So I'm fired up because I think, over the next year, Canadians are going to have a sample of a variety of choices. Hard right wing, middle of the road, or right of left of center. And I just do believe passionately about my riding in Canada. And we need to have a conversation across the country, not just in our riding, of what Canada do we want for the next 4 or 5 years, 6 years. And look, no government gets it right. During COVID, we had a decision to make as government, for example. The economy was collapsing. Everything in the country was collapsing because of this shock to the system, this existential crisis. We put programs together that helped individual businesses, individuals. We didn't get it right 100%, but we stopped the bleeding. And now after COVID, you look at pharmacare. Think about this now. We have the beginning of pharmacare with diabetes medication. Tell a family that has a young child in Dominion, Nova Scotia, that gets certain medications covered, but not all diabetes medications covered, that there is a possibility that we're going to take away, that a future government is going to take away medication in relation to diabetes. That's a fight worth having. I look forward to having it.
It's definitely a fight worth having. Actually, ironically, my granddaughter just got diagnosed with diabetes. Her father is a single father, and he has to deal with that. So that hits me pretty close to home.
And I
You
think
know,
you're like a lot of folks in the riding, Becky.
yeah, and I learned a
Um,
lot.
yeah, like we look again, no government gets it right all the time. And you got to learn from your mistakes. And you got to learn from how do you avoid those mistakes and how do you do more things that are better for Canadians and Cape Bretoners and people from northeastern Nova Scotia, like the firefighting, a volunteer firefighting tax credit. I mean, that was a result of the person that was championing the bill, Sherry Raminato, an MP from Montreal, who heard about our work locally with volunteer firefighters and said, "Will you help me?" And I said, "You're darn right, I'll help you." Now we have double the tax credit for volunteer firefighters across the riding. It's national in scope. It's deserved. Men and women are volunteering their time. We need to look after them. It's about looking after for Canadians. And, you know, I care about the riding. I care about Canadians. What people think of me, that is their prerogative. And it's, they're right when you put your name on a ballot. But know this, like, I honestly believe this. I mean, we're working night and day for this riding. And this is not a, this is not a, this is a, this is a privilege to work on behalf of your constituents. And as I say to my own MP colleagues, I say, look, no offense, but I want your money too for my riding. And we hustle. And when we're not hustling, we're side hustling for the riding. But we're going to have a lot of announcements this summer, Becky. I think of Richmond County. Stay tuned. Big announcements there. Big announcements and throughout the riding in a variety of small craft harbors. Historic announcements for small craft harbors in Cape Breton and northeastern Nova Scotia. And then, of course, we're focusing on dental care and focusing on pharmacare and making people aware of what they have now and to fight for that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let anybody take this away from us.
No.
Then that's my job, but it's also our job.
Well, I'm always here for you, Mike.
Thank you, Becky.
Tello was always here for any positive or any type of message. Actually, we like to hear. We like to hear from our politicians.
As well, you should. I
Yeah,
mean,
we
this
do.
is politicians have this platform and the environment to have great conversations with you and the electorate. And again, my thought is, and it's funny. I was brought up in Glace Bay, and and I remember my mom and dad are no longer here, but they instilled a few things in me, quite a few, in fact. But one was, never forget where you come from and fight like hell for your people. And the one thing that people know about me in Ottawa is that I don't give up because there've been doors closed on me. But sometimes we manage to open them up when no one thought we could. And sometimes we strike out.
Mhm.
But
I'm sure you've got a nickname up there, Mike. Do you know of
somebody
any?
called me Pitbull.
Well,
And I don't know, like, I mean, I'll take that, I guess. But like I look at it, I'm in the foxhole for the people of Cape Breton and northeastern Nova Scotia. My job is to work with people who want to work with me and those that want to get in the way of families and individuals and industry and community groups, people in my riding. I'm willing to battle that.
no, I know you are. I realize that. Well, people appreciate when they actually see somebody that they recognize that is fighting for them. It's a good feeling. That we're a resilient bunch, but we have our ups and downs, good days, bad days,
Certainly.
just like everybody else, you know?
We do. We do.
But
We have our bad days, we have our good days. And that's why, like, it's important to stay connected and work together and on a whole host of things. And, I didn't even get involved. I didn't even bring up the concerns I have around the environment. But the fact of the matter is that Cape Bretoners and people in northeastern Nova Scotia and Canadians writ large, there are those out there that say Canada is broken, and I'm not one of them. I believe that Canada is a great country. I think we have a lot to be proud of, a lot to cherish, a lot to be thankful for. But that doesn't mean that we can't be better, and that doesn't mean that we can't achieve more. But we don't do that by creating divisions in community. We don't do that by creating divisions between regions or between genders or between different groups that practice religion differently or have different sexual orientation and viewpoints. About what this is about is bringing people together and showing that you're attempting to do better on behalf of the citizens of your particular riding. That's why I feel very passionate about politics, because I think politics is one way to create a better society. Not the only way, but a better way, or a different way, not a better way. And I think that I certainly look forward to seeing folks on the hustings, as they say, in the coming months, and looking forward to conversations and quite a few announcements. So stay tuned.
oh, listen, anytime you have an announcement, you let me know. And
Will
if I
do.
can be there with a camera, I'll be there too.
That's great, Becky. Thank you.
You're very welcome. It was so nice to see you as always, Mike. I hope you get to drop in at
I
some
will.
point,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
you just keep doing what you do.
That's like my mother said. My mom passed away in January, but my mother had a famous saying for me, and she said, "Put your head down and go like hell." And that's what we do.
Well, you've been doing that all along, Mike.